Scott, you've got two things in elections. You've got sort of the reality at the moment, and then you've got momentum. Clearly and unequivocally and unarguably, Republicans have the big mo. Does the model take that into account?
It does, because the momentum's have been coming from recent fundraising. We just had a recent FEC quarter, October 15th. Republicans outperformed expectations in fundraising. It also takes into account some recent polling that was surprisingly strong for Republicans in Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Nevada, which are the three key battleground states we're going to be looking at election night for control of the Senate.
All right, we think about Georgia in particular. That's what Chuck Schumer said they were really worried about. He said, I really can't believe anyone would vote for Herschel Walker. But polling now showing they do. Real Clear Politics average now, Walker 0.6 of a point above Warnock. That is an enormous shift. Still, Democrats keep hitting Walker on the issue of abortion. Does it just not resonate with undecided voters?
It doesn't resonate, and what's interesting about it is they've been hitting it for 6 months, and the poll numbers have been roughly the same. In fact, Walker's poll numbers have gotten better. So it's kind of the definition of, doing the same thing and expecting a different result, but we haven't seen it yet from the Democratic side. So it's interesting in that Georgia race. Walker did not have a good debate. I watched it here on NewsNation. Warnock certainly had an opportunity to capitalize, but the poll numbers aren't showing it.
Yeah, they are not. We look at this, which issue matters more, inflation or abortion? How much can really change in the last 12 days?
You know what? It's interesting. If this were 10 years ago, I would say a lot could change. But based after our 2020, where many of these states, key battleground states like Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Nevada, allow early voting, which is a good access tool, there's millions of ballots that have already been cast. And so momentum right now is with the Republicans, and people are voting today. People were voting yesterday, and people are going to be voting tomorrow while the momentum's with the Republicans. So the Democrats, while they have an opportunity, there are less and less convincible voters who can come to their side. And so it looks unlikely that they're going to be able to stem the tide in some of these states and some of these races. The question will be, can they stem the tide in some of them so they can hold back a red wave?
Ron Klain, President's chief of staff, the president himself has tried out this line a couple of times, saying that this election is not a referendum. It's a choice, sort of a nod to President Biden's low approval numbers, yet still President Biden is going out on the trail. We know he's going to be in Pennsylvania campaigning for Fetterman as well. Is President Biden a liability, or at this point is the only thing he and former President Obama and others can do, even if they're not popular with even swing voters, can they still turn out the base?
Well, they can certainly fundraise, which is one of the main reasons why he's going to Pennsylvania to help out Fetterman. But what I like to do, instead of debating the poll numbers, look at where he's going. The president is not spending a lot of time in Georgia, not spending a lot of time in Nevada, not spending a lot of time in Arizona, is spending a little bit of time in Pennsylvania. That tells me all we need to know about whether or not the Democrats look at him as a liability or an asset to their campaign down the stretch. If we start seeing him do 1-2 events a day for the next 2 weeks, then, certainly looks like an opportunity to help. But I don't see that on his schedule, so I don't necessarily think he's going to be that much of a difference maker either way.
All right, we look real quick at Ohio. And this, you would think, would be a safe seat for Republicans. J.D. Vance, President Trump's pick, is not exactly delivering in the way that Republicans hope. We'll put it up there. Real Clear Politics average 45-47. Just saw one poll that had actually Tim Ryan ahead there. Why is this so close, and what does that tell us about election night?
Well, it's interesting enough. Donald Trump won the state by 9 points. J.D. Vance ran a red meat, pretty solid primary campaign. He looks good on the stump. He said the right things. He came out of the primary and did not raise a lot of money. His campaign has been viewed as lackluster and uninspiring. And on the other side, you've got Tim Ryan, who is a former failed presidential candidate, relatively successful congressman from the center part of the state. He has been saying the right things on the economy, on labor, on abortion, on taxes. He is running the perfect campaign. Will it be enough to beat a 9-point Donald Trump state? We don't know, but that's exactly why it's close.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.